Alright everybody, hello and welcome. As always, I am Sean. This is In The Mix at episode 98. We inch towards episode 100 at the end of this week. Triple figures for the first time in the channel's history, but we need to continue what has been a fantastic series and a fantastic run of form. We're in our third season of the championship. If you haven't gone and watched the other episodes from this week, go and check them out because they will help you a tremendous amount in the run home and who we're mainly competing with. But I won't waste too much time. Let's jump in and see how we've gone the last couple of games. So we are still sitting in second position, 39 games played, 22 wins, 12 draws and 5 defeats in that time. We are still 8 points behind West Brom in top spot. They've now qualified for the playoffs, so they definitely have that guaranteed. And I think if results go our way in this episode, we can guarantee at least playoff football as well, which will be fantastic for us. Now, you will note we've played 39 games. They've played 40. We keep having games rescheduled. We were originally in this episode going to play Millwall, who are down towards the bottom of the division, and Cardiff, who are in 5th spot. That game got postponed due to a waterlogged pitch, which has happened 4 or 5 times in the second half of this season. So fixtures are piling up very quickly. But we are into the final 7 matches of the year. As such, we're going to compare the 2 runs home. So first, we're going to have a look at West Brom's fixtures here. And they are, we'll go through their results and stuff in a moment, but they have just powered through everyone. They haven't lost since the 7th of December last year. They have had quite a few draws in that time. In FA Cup, in regular competition, in the Championship as well. They did have a run where they drew 4 in 5, which was probably where we caught up the majority of our points, but they just don't lose games, which makes them so hard to catch. We are effectively the Terminator, just sprinting after the truck, trying to catch them. But the big game that we're looking at here is the 0-0 draw against them. If we had won that game, we would have been within striking distance of actually going above them in this run home, but it just gets so much more difficult. And when you look at their run home, they've got Huddersfield in 7th, Swansea in 19th, Hull in 14th, Bristol in 6th, Wigan in 17th, and Millwall in 24th. You'd think, given that they have won so many games, that they are all winnable fixtures for them, and even perfection from us may not necessarily be enough to catch their points total. They have been very good and would be a very worthy champion, but we're not giving up. We're not giving up by any stretch of the imagination. We have done pretty well in our last few games. Of course, that last episode where we played West Brom, we had a 3-1 win against Rochdale, a very good performance from the team away from home, and then a 1-0 win in a scrappy contest against Hull. We did go a man down, Christian Hernandez getting a straight red card in the 54th minute. Didn't make things easy for us, but we did actually set ourselves up quite nicely to just see out that game, see out that contest, keep possession, and our league position. And we did that without the Wolf, without a couple of suspended players who are still suspended now. So Hernandez and Goodlife will both miss this next match against Cardiff. We're very short on left fullback stock. As such, I've brought forward everyone from the under-23 squad as well. So guys like Marcos de Almeida, who hasn't gone out on loan, guys like Adam Andrews, who's just been pretty much unhappy since the day he signed, they come into the lineup and may potentially contribute a little bit in this episode as well. But we've got 2 fixtures now because of that rescheduled one. We've got Cardiff, and then in about 2 weeks' time, as far as the game world is concerned, Stoke. For you guys, you won't notice that because I'll just, click my fingers and jump ahead to that match. But we're effectively now playing 5th and 4th in this one, which is going to, I think, really either secure automatic promotion for us if we get good results, or if we lose both these games, we're going to get dragged straight back into that playoff predicament because Fulham are on 71 points and doing quite well in the second half of the season. Stoke are only on 70 points, not that far up behind us either. So this is really like a turning point for us as far as this fixture, this series, the last few games of the week are going to be concerned. I think if we lose both of them, it probably means that we focus more on our playoff position. If we win both of them, it kind of sets up the rest of the week to be a very intense chase against a fairly unbeatable West Brom side, and we'll be against the odds trying to hope that they drop points in the last few matches of the season. As such, that'll probably reflect how this episode goes and what tomorrow's episode ends up being. If we lose both these games, I think tomorrow's episode will be the last games of the season against Watford and Barnsley, and then our episode 100 on Friday will potentially be the playoffs. If we win these games, then we're probably going to try and bring you guys the final 4 games of the season. Tomorrow, games against Millwall and Huddersfield, and then Friday, games against Watford and Barnsley, just to keep as much of the run home, as much of this title chase in episodes in your view so that you guys can see and enjoy as much of it as much as I am at the moment. But before we get ahead of ourselves, before we worry too much about tomorrow's episode, Friday's episode, we have to beat Cardiff, we have to beat Stoke. We have gotten pretty comfortable in this attacking structure that we're using, just going all out attack, and I think that's what the strategy we're going to employ today. We play Cardiff at home, who are a very good side, but we have scored more goals than they have. We do have a more positive goal difference. I think if we go after it a little bit, try and score as much as possible, they can't really hang with us in that respect. As always though, best laid plans sometimes go out the window, but through the magic of editing now, we can jump forward, look at the two lineups that we're going to go with. So a little bit of a different lineup for us. We've got, of course, Cooper's in goal, Sigurdsson and Escobar as a central defensive partnership, as they have been all season. Ben Chop on the right, but we're going to have Tyrone Taylor, the vice-captain, fill in at left-back because we have both of our left-backs currently suspended. He's a left-footed player, so that gives us good balance, but he's not super comfortable in really any role. So he's just going to play as a fullback on defend. We're not going to ask him to do anything other than clear the ball up the line and hope something happens in front of him. The Wolf and Madrigal will anchor midfield. Aguirre plays at the 10, our player of the season so far. And I'm bringing in, for the first time that you guys have seen him, Marcos de Almeida on that left wing. When I was going through everybody's recent form, it looked like Illich just hadn't really played well for about 10 games. And I think his average rating over the last 5 games is about a 6.6, which means he's not having good performances consistently. So we've dropped him, brought in De Almeida, who was a new signing in January. He's made 1 previous appearance in the FA Cup. This will be his first opportunity from a league game. He's been doing quite well in the under-23 side, and I'm hopeful on his debut in the league we can get a good performance out of him today. If not, we do have Ramirez on the bench as well. Petrovic plays on the right. Dorba has been good, but he has plateaued a little bit in the last few games. And Alta Miranda, of course, our leading scorer for the season, leads the line up top. Cardiff have a very interesting lineup. They're playing a 3-2-3, a 5-2-3, not a 3-2-3, with Wilmot from Watford anchoring their defensive line here, 31 years of age now. He's been at Cardiff for a couple of seasons, played at Aston Villa, Leicester and West Brom before that as well. Looks to be a very good central defensive option, and with 2 regens alongside him, it makes it nice and interesting. They have on the right wing Hakon Evgen, who is actually one of the leading assist makers for the season, 15 assists. He's going toe-to-toe at the moment with Aguirre for us in terms of leading assist maker for the season itself. Looks to be a very good inverted winger on that right-hand side, cutting in on his left foot, full Norwegian international with a few caps to his name. He's 31 years of age now, but he looks to be a very, very tidy player. And on the other side, they've got Folarin Balogun, an Arsenal junior, US international, 29 years of age. If you can pick him up early in your saves, he's an excellent, excellent finisher. I've got a network save with a friend and he's got Balogun, and Balogun consistently scores against me, which is quite frustrating. He's on loan from Sheffield United, so he's not owned entirely by Cardiff, but it's interesting that Sheffield are lower down in the division, lowing him out, when in reality I would have thought he could have done a good job for Sheffield, who we of course beat comfortably, I think, a couple of games ago. But they've got a good side. That's without even looking at their regen players, who I'm sure are very talented. Nichols here is their captain, 24-year-old Welsh international. He looks solid, not spectacular as far as centre-backs goes. Moreira up top, Carlos Moreira, 27-year-old Portuguese player with some under-21 caps to his name. He looks all right as well. Been at Cardiff for a good few years, making over 300 appearances. So they've got some talent, they've got some ability. That's why they're in the playoff picture. But we are effectively a side challenging for the league title, and we should be doing well against them. Passionately, I'm going to say, I know a lot of you were keen to happen last time we played Cardiff. I said in the last episode I was going to try and remember to show you the previous result. I've already forgotten. It took me 1 episode to forget that was a new thing that I was going to try and do. I assumed that they beat us, or that wouldn't have come up as a pre-match talk option. First highlight of the game, Kubas resets from a goal kick here and goes short to Escobar. Now to Aguirre, who's got time and space in front of him. This might be that 5-2-3 working a little bit in our favour in terms of the shape. Brady back into Baptiste. Out to Brady again. Good run in there. Lovely tackle from Taylor. De Almeida, first involvement from him. Finds Aguirre. Can cut back here to the Wolf at the base of midfield. We can work it out to the right-hand side where the fullback's gotten forward. He finds Ben Chop now, who skips past one challenge. Petrovic does well to recover the loose ball. Backstick runner to Almeida, and he's gotten the goal on his league debut. First goal of the season for him, and first goal for the club. It's an immediate response from the Brazilian left winger. And he's got all the tools. He just doesn't necessarily have the star rating of Illich and Ramirez at the moment. Petrovic does very well to get to that loose ball first, hangs it back stick. De Almeida in behind the fullback, heads it back across goal. Ross in the Cardiff City goal. Can't do anything about it despite scrambling across the goal line very quickly. And we take a 1-goal advantage early on. Aguirre with a free kick goes back stick, and Madrigal's flicked one on. No, it's not. I apologise. It's George Escobar at the far post. 2 goals in 4 minutes for us. Has put us in a fantastic position early doors. Aguirre with a wonderful ball. Escobar was in there. We had a couple other bodies in there as well, but he rose above them all, flicking beyond Madrigal and beyond the on-rushing Cardiff keeper for a 2-goal advantage. Because I can't help myself, we're going to keep an eye as well on West Brom's fixture, if West Brom are playing. No, it doesn't look like they are. Petrovic from the corner. Sigurdsson front post, and he flicked it on, but Alta Miranda's final touch on the ball just from an offside position. Very tight, that one, though. Did West Brom already play their game? That's potentially why West Brom are already guaranteed playoff football. They might have played their game earlier in the weekend. Or they're playing tomorrow and we're going to ratchet up the pressure on them a little bit by winning our game in hand. Long ball forward here, finds Balogun. Reverse pass to Baptiste, now back to Nichols. Switches poor, D'Almeida's in a good area and takes a lovely touch around the defender. Across to Madrigal now, bursting forward as the Messiah goes to strike himself. It was never really on. Ross forces it out for a corner, but it wasn't hitting the target if he had to let it run. Aguirre for the corner now, backstick runner again. Headed away, now Brady for Cardiff is going to come forward. They are trying to burst forward on the far side. Madrigal with a sloppy little foul in there. And he hasn't picked up a yellow card. He's gotten away with that one a little bit. 2 minutes to be added on at the end of the first half here. So far, so good. So half-time, 2-0 up, 12 shots, 6 on target, 60% possession. Cardiff had 2 shots, neither of them on target though, and 40% of the ball. I'm just going to calmly tell everyone, very pleased with your performance, lads. Keep it up. This is pretty much the best that you could hope for in a scenario where you're playing a playoff rival. It would see them drop out of the playoff positions just looking at the live league table there. But they've got the ball here. Evgen plays it inside to Moreira. Good reverse pass to Brady, the overlapping fullback. Sigurdsson with a good challenge, but Brady's going to get to the rebound first. Sigurdsson again and again to Brady. We managed to pinball it around in there. I think Balogun got a strike, but Ben Shop did quite well to close it down. Long ball forward to Alta Miranda as the highlight continues. Nichols across now to Chambers as Cardiff recover possession. The Wolf now, chance to bring the ball forward. He's got players around him. He maybe could have looked to slip in D'Almeida there. He doesn't. McAlpine comes away with the ball for Cardiff. It's end-to-end stuff here at the moment. Moreira played in on the right-hand side. Kubis with a wonderful save. Escobar gets it clear. Petrovic, as the highlight comes to an end. Just end-to-end stuff. I couldn't tell who was going to potentially have the shot or the strike or whatever it was going to be from that one. Got a highlight here again. 58 minutes played. Brady with the throw-in and a long ball up the line towards Moreira. Taylor with an excellent header. Aguirre, square ball to Madrigal on the right-hand side here. Can work a numbers advantage on the right if we pick the right pass. Instead, he goes to strike himself, which was never really on. Should have honoured the overlapping run there at Ben Shop. He put the lung-busting run in to get forward and support. We're through the hour mark now, so we're going to look at our subs. Tyron Taylor struggling, but I don't have a left back on the bench. Alta Miranda struggling, and we've also got Camara away on international duty, so he'll see out the game. What are we doing in terms of conditioning at the moment? Petrovic may be struggling. We might bring on Dorba, who's been effective in wide areas. And we might hold off on the other subs just for the last few minutes. We'll go assertive. I have faith in you. Let's also use our get creative shout. Aguirre from the corner. Looks front post towards Escobar. He looks to try and make it a double, but the flick on header just above the crossbar. Wide right now for Cardiff. Throw in. Wolf does well to read the play and recover possession. Alta Miranda on the left wing. Does well to play it back into midfield to Wolf, who sends D'Almeida into the corner. Bodies have to get in the box to help him out. Cuts it back to Aguirre, who gets the strike away, and it's pinballed around. I think it's eventually going to go down as an own goal for Ross, but in reality, that's an Aguirre strike. He managed to clip the inside of the post. It hit Ross in the back in the Cardiff goal and trickled its way over the line. We'll check this one out here. D'Almeida does very well to beat the man. Finds Aguirre, who just absolutely rifles that one near post. Kept it quite well, actually, I think, to save it and push it onto the post, rather than just hitting the post on its own. And a 3-0 advantage, that should be more than enough for us to get beyond here. Madrigal's picked up a yellow card. We might have a look at making that change in the last few minutes here. Who have we got that can play in midfield? No one really in the squad at present. Andrews can maybe do a job. We might bring him back in, but he hasn't exactly put himself in my good books with his behaviour since he signed. And we might assertively also say demand more just for the last 10 minutes. Give everyone some focus through to full time. Let's hold on to this 3-0 victory and give ourselves some decent momentum heading into the game against Stoke. So the game ends 3-0, 21 shots, 8 on target, 59% possession for us, 5-2 and 41 for Cardiff. We are going to calmly tell everyone I'm very pleased with the result and your performance. A very good result against a side that should be in and around the playoff picture come the end of the season. Though I think that will see them drop out of the top 6 spots. No, they just stay in 6th position. Bristol City, one of the sides that's dropped down to 67 points, but you can see it's incredibly tight. Reading on 8th on 66. Bristol and Cardiff both on 67, Huddersfield on 69, Stoke and Fulham 73 and 74 respectively. And we go to 81 points, 5 points behind West Brom. They didn't play today, which makes me think they maybe rescheduled it due to international call-ups, which would make a lot of sense. So we're on level points with them. They will also have a game in hand at some point throughout the course of the season. Escobar with his goal gets an 8.7 match rating and a clean sheet. A very good performance from him. We're going to tell him his defensive work was superb and he's been fantastic for us all throughout the season. Norwich boss Eddie Howe was there watching Lionel Alta Miranda. This always happens at some point throughout the season. Some of the Premier League big boys start sniffing around our talented players that are playing very well. And we may have to offer some improved contracts as we get towards the end of the season just to try and push everyone to staying on for another season. Now, I mentioned it earlier, but we do have an international break now, so no games for another 2 weeks before we play Stoke away from home. So we're going to probably give everybody, I think, I'm going to clear this out, and I'm going to use this time to set everyone up for the run home. I'm going to give everyone a week off training just while players are away on international duty. We've got a good few. I think we've got 10 of this starting 22 or squad of 22 that are going away with either under 21 sides, under 19 sides, whatever it happens to be. So we don't want to try and destroy them too early. We want to try and make sure they come back in tip-top condition for the last few games of the season. Magic of editing, though, we're going to jump forward to the game against Stoke now and have a look at the two lineups. All right, just like that, we are a couple of weeks ahead. We got through the international period relatively unscathed. Escobar did pick up a knock with the Uruguayan under-20 side. Sigurdsson was the last one coming back with the Icelandic national team. I think he's okay to get through this game. We're going to give him an opportunity anyway to try and get through the full match. Otherwise, it is an unchanged lineup. Oh, well, actually, that's a lie. Otherwise, there's one change. Goodlife comes in at left back for Taylor, who drops to the bench. He did a good job, but if we can get a specialist left full back out there, I think that's a better way to go in it. And I'm going to give Almeida another run out. He played well in the last game. We got a very good result and performance against a very high-quality opposition. And, of course, going against Stoke today is going to be quite difficult. Now, I did go and check because I'm learning. I'm getting better as a content creator. We did draw 1-1 with them. It was a 90th minute equaliser by this guy, Francesco Guidotti, for the 1-1 draw earlier on in the season. It was in the first 10 games or so of the year, so quite a while between fixtures against Stoke, but they do still have some very good players. You can see here, Bielek at the back comes through the Arsenal Academy at the start of the season, 33 years of age now, but very good technical attributes worked out for him. Physically, he has dropped off quite a bit, but that might just be due to age, and he has been with Stoke now for 8 consecutive seasons. They've signed Jonathan Panzo. They didn't bring him back directly from Monaco. He was at Watford and then Nottingham Forest before joining Stoke at a championship level. Very good young English player. Came through the Chelsea Academy at the start of your save. He will be with Monaco if you want to try and pick him up. Can play at centre-back, can play on left full-back either. They've got Jaden Braff, who they picked up from PSV at some point, or actually I take that back. He was at Brentford via PSV and then Man City and then MK Dons and Sheffield United and Stoke, so he's been around a bit at a championship level. Still very good, 16 dribbling and 16 technique, 16 acceleration and agility, only 28 years of age somehow. A very good Dutch winger. And the guy that consistently gives me a pain in the ass is Ben Brereton, a 31-year-old player now. Good pressing forward, good proper English striker. Plays at Blackburn at the start of everyone's database and save after coming through at Nottingham Forest. Was previously at Stoke as a junior and has now made the return for senior football, 66 goals in 208 appearances, and he's having a good season as their leading scorer as well. Passionately, we are going to say, great opportunity to show the pundits they're right to back you up. It's working at the moment, and it looks like nervous is Lionel Altamiranda. We'll talk about him a little bit maybe in the next episode, but I'm going to calmly tell him that he's got nothing to worry about. Whisper it quietly, because we know Sports Interactive listens a lot. They've got a highlight immediately. They've sent Bruff into the corner. Escobar does well to recover. Kubis with long ball forward. Koulibaly, not Kalidou, a different one. Out to Guidotti, now Brereton goal side, and a great save from Kubis. I don't know how he's managed to scrape that one out of the bottom corner, but early days, Stoke giving us some issues. Braff's going to take the resulting corner. It's away by Escobar, and Guidotti gets there again, getting to the ball ahead of the Wolf, and Braff can only force it out again for another corner, which he's going to take on this left-hand side. A lot of early pressure from Stoke here. Headed away by D. Almeida, now Aguirre, who's got time and space in front of him if he wants to dribble. Braff gives up the chase, switch out towards, and the highlight comes to an end. We maybe could have had 2v1 on the far post there if that had continued. Kubis, short ball here, Escobar, looks forward to Madrigal. It's a poor pass out, and Braff's picked up possession in the 18-yard box and gotten the strike away. All right, so they're putting us under too much pressure. Let's drop back to our positive structure, see if putting a foot on the ball a little bit, slowing down, will help us out, but it's just a straight-up error from Escobar. Poor ball forward, Madrigal, not good enough in the challenge either. Braff bursts into the box, no one steps to him, so he just smashes that near post, and we've gone a goal down. I was going to say whisper it quietly, because we know Sports Interactive listens in. We had potential to try and get our first 6-point episode of Season 13, or Season 12, or whatever we're up to. Backstick run again, we're 2-0 down. Ignore everything I said. Why do I open my mouth into this goddamn microphone, knowing damn well that Miles and whoever at Sports Interactive is hacking in, looking at our game and deciding that we're going to lose after, I think, like 9 games unbeaten. It's a good header. Mickey Robertson, 9th goal of the season for him, and Braff, early days, as a goal and an assist to his name. We're going to demand more in the 23rd minute, and everyone seems focused, which is good. If we can get our foot back on the ball and try and pull something back here before half-time, we might have something to work with. But otherwise, I can already tell you what our half-time team talk is going to be. We're going to demand more again. 5 minutes remaining in the half. We had to have a shot on target. 2 minutes to be added on here. We're through that time now. 11 shots, 9 on target, 39% possession for Stoke. They don't want the ball, but they are creating all the opportunities aggressively. Expect to see a much better showing for you in the second half, and we're going to go attacking. Half time, Aguirre really struggling, Good Life struggling, pressing forward struggling, but everyone has responded positively to the halftime feedback. We'll give it 15 minutes, and we do have the firepower to try and get something out of this game. West Brom, where are they at the moment? It looks like they're drawing at present, or they've already drawn, which will just make it even more difficult to actually take a 2-0 defeat here. While I haven't been paying attention, they're drawing with Huddersfield. It's 0-0 in their match. Tactically, what are we going to do here? Who's struggling most? Aguirre having a terrible game, but I'm going to leave him out there because he's one of our better players. We're going to bring on Hendy for Madrigal because I think that extra legs in midfield will help us quite a bit. Good Life struggling. Miranda struggling. De Almeida, we might take him off for Ramirez. We might take off Petrovic for Dorba. So it's 2 wingers changing and a fullback. Passionately, I have faith in you. Get out there, make a difference. Oh, sorry, there's no fullback changing. It is a central midfielder. Going to use our get creative shout as well. Deep free kick Aguirre towards back post. Godotti heads it away. Ramirez off the bench. Tries the strike, but it's cleared away. Ben Shop's going to keep it in for us here. Let's get it back in. He goes all the way back to Kubis. Work it out to the left-hand side now. We've got a 2v1 on the left if we work this correctly. Finds Sigurdsson, who plays it out now left to Good Life, who's got time and space in front of him. And Ramirez there to offer support. Sends him into the channel now. Wide area, not much to work with. And he's been brought down. It's a block tackle. Oh no, I think it's gone out for the corner, which we're going to get now. Dorba's going to take. Goes short to Ramirez. Looks to cut it back, but Brereton with the header away. Highlight comes to an end. Right, we're going to, 10 minutes remaining, use our get creative shout again. We're going to return to the pitch because I don't need to see the analysis right now. Highlight, Slew with the long ball forward. Dorba does well to bring it down. Plays it to Hendy in midfield. The Wolf looks for one into the corner for Ramirez. Fresh legs off the bench. Can he square it up for a teammate? Instead, he goes to strike himself straight at the goalkeeper who saves and holds. Puts the ball down. Goes for the long one forward. Ahmed, Brereton, Koulibaly, Hurst. Sends Ahmed into the corner. The highlight continues here for Stoke. Cuts one back. Escobar with an excellent tackle and challenge away. Nodder sends it back to Fulton. If we're going to try and get something back, we do have possession now. Ben Shop comes forward. Looks for Miranda in the channel in behind. He does well to get behind the defender. Can he find the finish wide area? He can't. Oh no, it was actually Fulton with a good block shot. We are putting pressure on here. Ramirez, just go front post. Escobar's there. Flicks on the header, but just over the crossbar. And we're having opportunities. We're knocking on the door, but we just aren't creating enough. Demand more here. Last 2 minutes of additional time. Ramirez, wide area, gets the corner in. It's cleared away. It's going to be a penalty very, very late, which is going to be Miranda with a chance to add to his tally for the season. I think this will take him over 20 goals for the year if he can find the finish. He sends the keeper the wrong way. Get the ball. Get the ball, Lionel. Bring it back. We can make this equaliser. We can find this win. 21st goal of the season from Miranda. Sends the keeper the wrong way. What is going to happen here in the last 30 seconds of the match? We need to get the ball back from Stoke, and we need to try and find a finish. Are we going to see anything? 6 minutes of additional time. We don't even get to see it. Sports Interactive, if you are listening, if you are watching, when you're in a game like that where you're trying to come back, play the last 30 seconds in the match, for Christ's sake. In the end, a 2-1 defeat. We started so slowly. That first 15 minutes is where they killed us. 16 shots, 12 on target, 37% of the ball. However they set up to counter-attack against us was absolutely perfect. To have 37% possession but 16 shots and 12 on target is very impressive. 9 shots, 3 on target, 63% of the ball for us, and a 94th minute penalty. The only consolation. Aggressively, I'm not happy with the result, and we'll end that team talk there. What happened in the West Brom game? Has someone done us a favour? Maybe, and taken a couple of points? Huddersfield, looking at you boys. They have. Okay, they went down to 10 men late on, but a 0-0 draw for West Brom means that West Brom are only 6 points ahead of us going into the final 5 games of the season. So it's going to set up, I think, a grandstand finish. What we might do is play the game against Sheffield Wednesday off screen and come back in tomorrow's episode and do the game against Millwall, who are down in 24th, and Huddersfield, who are in 6th spot. We need, in the final 5 games, at least, at a minimum, to win our 5 and hope that West Brom lose twice in that period, which I don't think is likely to happen, but we're at least going to push them as far as humanly possible. You really kind of have to look at how did that defeat against Birmingham randomly out of nowhere, and now the defeat against Stoke really chalk up towards the end of the season, as well as that tremendous opportunity we had to play against 10 men West Brom and not finding the back of the net. I think those will be the games that kind of define how our season's finished up, but we're going to keep going. We're going to power all the way through. We're going to try and win as many games as possible on the way through, and hopefully you guys will join us for that journey in the rest of the week as well. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's the part that I appreciate the most. If you want to continue to support the channel, support the series, you can drop a like on this video. Please that YouTube algorithm, get us high in YouTube search results when people look for Football Manager content, or you can subscribe to the channel to be kept up to date on all our videos as they continue to release in FM20. But like I said at the start, more than anything, thanks for watching. That's the part I appreciate. I've been Sean, and I'll see you all again in the mixer.